Okay. Hi, everybody. We are here. This is so exciting. It's the end of February. We made it through another month in quarantine in this crazy time of COVID and everything. And we are here to talk about the different things that we watched in February and to just have some fun. And if you want to put your questions in the chat room, we will answer your questions. And I'm filming with Rachel Wagner. Ryan is here.
Hey, Rachel, and hey, everyone. It's so great to be back with all of you yet again.
Yeah. So, how have you been doing?
Well, it's been a busy month, let's just say that, and just to, I guess, tear down the forbidden door or the not so forbidden door into personal stuff. But I got a new job, and I'm
Yeah, it's so
actually
exciting.
starting that tomorrow. And it's my first full-time job with full-time pay and benefits and the whole nine. When I got offered it, I was like, am I awake? Like, because just bit of context, in mid-January I got let go from my other job because of layoffs. They couldn't afford to keep me around. It sucked. I hated it because I loved working there. I loved the people. It was a job that I genuinely was passionate about, but stupid virus. It just, churches gotta scrimp and save every dime that they can. So I was left out in the cold, and for like a good 3 weeks, I was like, please hire me, God, please hire me. And then finally, through some connections, found the job I have now, and I'm starting that tomorrow. And it feels like I'm starting a new chapter in my life, I suppose. And it's just, I don't know, it's just very exciting.
I think that's great. I'm really excited for you. I can't wait to hear what it's like, and I hope you have a great experience. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to hear about it in the March wrap up. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, because I've had nothing but part-time jobs ever since I left college, and not that there's anything wrong with those. I've had great experiences with all of them, but it's like, got to get full-time eventually. And so finally I ended up getting it. And so I guess the old adage is true: good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, and sometimes our timeline is not the same as God's timeline. He makes us wait.
True.
I don't know why, but hopefully it'll all pay off and it'll be great. Work with really nice people and everything like that. I actually haven't had a full-time job in a really, really long time. It's been because I've been basically a freelancer and working part-time. It's been since like 2014. It's been a while. So if I ever have to go back, it's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be weird. Hopefully I can manage to keep pulling this off a little bit longer. Keep watching the videos, guys, please.
Someone's got to review all those Hallmark movies.
That's right. So we're going to talk about the different things that we watched this month, and then we have some other fun stuff for this little live stream. And I don't know about you, but it was definitely a lighter month for me as far as movie watching. And I don't know why particularly, but I got some. I watched a few series that were interesting for me, and I think maybe it was just coming off of Sundance, because that finished on February 3rd, and that's so intense that I don't know. I didn't quite watch as many over the next couple of weeks, but I just had really great time doing a little one-night staycation with my friend Jen. And that was super fun. And we just stayed at at a little hotel in Salt Lake and just relaxed and got spent some time at the pool. I haven't been in a pool in over a year, so that was really fun. And it felt longer than one night. It was very relaxing. I didn't bring my computer. You would have been very proud of me. But do you have something that you were able to see, whether it's new or old, in February that you want to talk about?
Sure. So So I started off the month watching a couple movies for the AFI project. One of them was Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, the Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor movie. I recommended it for the Hidden Gems episode that we did for HBO Max with Ron Smith, and that is just a crazy movie. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say it's these two married couples like going tit for tat with each other on the who can out crazy each other scale. It's like, especially in the case of Burton and Taylor, because the love has gone out of their marriage, and so they're just bitter at each other, and they're not shy of letting them know. They trade barbs with each other. Like Burton says something about Taylor, and Taylor is like that one meme from The Last Dance, and I took that personally. And so Taylor fires back, and Burton's like, and I took that personally. And it's just it's a tennis match between the two, and it's perversely fun to watch, even though you're kind of watching a marriage implode, and I'm not sure I'd like to see that every day. But anyway, it's going to make for a fun review. And then I rewatched Grave of the Fireflies for my I finally watched series, or well, in this case, I rewatched because I had seen that movie before, and whew, that movie does not get any easier, let me tell you. Because I was like, I went through a Rocky Balboa style training montage of like, you got to get through this, you got to get through it. And halfway through, I'm like, I can't make it. I can't make it. Like,
It's intense. It's really, really, really intense.
like as soon as they get in the cave, I'm like, no, don't do that. That's game over. You just apologize to your aunt. I know she's a horrible person, but just like, it's better than nothing. It's a roof over your head. Think about this. It's just so many decisions.
Yeah, it's rough.
You know
It's
what's
good,
going to
but rough.
happen. You know what's going to happen, but you're just like, you're still like watching through your hands. It's intense stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then
yeah, it really is. It's brutal. Like, it's good that they included it with My Neighbor Totoro when they released it, because I think everybody would need it. You need to watch Totoro.
Yeah, and by contrast, My Neighbor Totoro, which I finally watched for the first time and really enjoyed it, is like this very light and airy kind of like it's like Grave of the Fireflies is like this super intense war drama, and My Neighbor Totoro is like these two little girls meeting forest spirits, and it's all mellow and nice. It's just like it's like oil, water. It's like they're two completely different movies.
Definitely. Definitely, for sure. Well, I got to rewatch a little known anime this month called Your Name.
Oh, I'm not surprised at this news.
I did get to rewatch it because I was on my friend Conrado's podcast. It hasn't aired yet, but I'll definitely let y'all know when it does air. It's called In Foreign. What is it called exactly? Just one sec. It's like Foreign Maid or something like that, and it's all about how different films from other countries and stuff and how they impact you, and Foreign Invader is what it's called, his podcast. And so I think my episode is coming up pretty soon. But anyway, that was really fun to revisit Your Name, and I still love it so much.
Is it still your favorite of all time?
Yeah, every time I see it, I see something new. It's so layered, and so I just love it. And it was kind of fun because he was kind of like, when he first saw it, 2016, and you know, we've been friends for a long time, and then he watched it again, and he finally got it. He liked it, and I was just like, yes, woo!
I have another convert.
Yes, that's right. So I saw a couple series that I really enjoyed in February. I really thought were well done. I finally watched a show. It's only a 4-part show called Unorthodox. This is on Netflix, and it's about a young woman that is in an arranged marriage in a Hasidic Jewish sect in New York, and she decides to leave and go to Berlin, and her experience, and it was very well done. And Shira Haas is her name, the lead. She is, I think, up for the Golden Globes are tonight, and I think that she's up for a lead in a limited series. She's very, very good in the role. It's obviously got some tough stuff that she has to go through and deal with, but I thought it was very good. I also really enjoyed The Lady in the Dale. I talked about it in our HBO Max episode. It's a very interesting series about this transgender woman named Liz Carmichael. It's a docuseries, and what I really liked about the series was that it did a good job keeping kind of moral ambiguity. That there were so many times when you were kind of rooting for her because she was so outspoken and so confident in who she was as far as being a transgender woman at that time, which isn't all that, like that common back then. But on the other hand, she was like, had this kind of Ponzi scheme about this 3-wheeled car, but was it a Ponzi scheme? Was it not? Like, it left you kind of guessing and trying to figure it out, which I liked, as opposed to something where it's really like, this is how you should feel about this. And so I thought they did a great job with that. And it was just very entertaining. I highly recommend it. I thought it was great. And so there was that. Plus, then I saw on PBS, they had the All Creatures Great and Small latest adaptation. This was in Great Britain last year. Now we're getting it here this year. And I love the books by James Herriot. They're sort of semi-autobiographical about him becoming a veterinarian in small town Scotland. I think it's Scotland in the turn of the century. And he has a really eccentric boss, and there's quirky townspeople and their animals, and it's just so charming. The guy who played James Herriot has like never been in hardly any other roles. They said introducing and he did such a good job, and especially the Christmas episode was so great. I loved it. Like, oh, Christmas, yay.
Am I correct in assuming this is a Masterpiece Theater production?
Yes, it's on Masterpiece, and if you want to watch it, it's available on PBS website. So now that it's all aired, it's all on there, and I just thought it was delightful, very charming, and so if that's your thing, then I think you'll really enjoy it. So those were 3 really good series that I saw over the month.
And as a bit of a pre-birthday thing for my dad, we went to our local IMAX theater and saw The Fellowship of the Ring, and that was a fantastic experience. And everything was taken care of. COVID measures. It was all like tight as drum in there, and I felt perfectly safe there. Like, everyone was taking it all seriously, and just kind of springboarding off of that, I saw Two Towers in the theaters, and that was excellent. But I also saw Minari, Little Thing, or no, wait, I watched Little Things on. No, I saw Little Things in theaters. Saw Minari, Little Things, and those 2 in theaters, and I felt like, man, I could live in this place. I mean, I felt like that all the time, but I mean, for those of you who are thinking like, oh, it's not safe, believe me. I used to work in a movie theater for 3 years. The cleaning stuff they have there is like one step away from being paint thinner. It's serious stuff.
Yeah.
So, and believe me when they're saying they're taking it all seriously. They can't even give you refills on your popcorn anymore. That is the state of things.
Yeah.
So if a theater's open in your area, then I'd say go and do it. I mean, I'm not pressuring you. Use your common sense, but I'd say go do it.
Yeah, I agree. If there's something that you want to see, then definitely you should go see it. I think it's safe. I'm going to go see Raya there at the theaters, and I'm looking forward to it. So we got some comments. What's up? Woohoo! Thank you, David. And I saw Tom and Jerry on HBO Max, and
you poor soul. You poor soul.
I actually liked Tom and Jerry.
As As a card-carrying member of the original cartoons fan club, I refuse to see that movie.
I actually thought the animation was very cool, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Slapstick. I enjoy that kind of comedy, so I don't know. I thought it was cute. I liked it. Is it the greatest movie I've ever seen? No, it's not. But I give it a 6 out of 10. I had fun with it. I think kids will enjoy it, and so there you go. But hopefully
Again,
you had some fun with it, David, as you watched
yeah,
it.
I can respect that, but ever since that stupid Tom and Jerry movie where they're like, "I'm Tom, I'm Jerry,"
Oh, yeah, they
jaded
don't
for
talk,
life.
thank goodness.
Jaded for life.
Yeah, they had the dog talk, which I didn't like, but they
You
didn't
mean
have
Spike?
Tom and Jerry.
You mean
Yeah,
Spike?
yeah.
Oh, I mean,
So
oh
I
wait,
hope,
I actually suppose he did talk on occasion, so I suppose that's fine. But it's like Charlie Chaplin walking out on stage like during The Kid or something, be like, and what's your name, little boy? It's like it completely just ruins the
yeah,
illusion.
yeah, and I agree that there, and I said in my review that there's too much time spent with the humans, and I get that, but I still overall thought it was cute. That's all I can say. So and I like the animation. So our good friend Micah, he says from Movie Studio, he says, "When Calls the Heart, episode 2 tonight." Yes, and we are actually over at Hallmark's podcast. We are doing our recaps bi-weekly. So we won't have a recap this week. But if you want weekly recaps, you can go over to Hardy's Hotline, which is our friends who are doing that one. So if you're desperate for your When Calls the Heart recap for this week, then make sure to check out Hardy's Hotline. But if you can wait, then next week we will have both episodes recap. So it should be pretty fun. So lots of excitement going on in Hope Valley there. What about something else that you got to see in February?
So I watched the Hitchcock movie Notorious for the first time, just randomly. I was in the library the other day, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm in a Hitchcock mood. So I grabbed Notorious, The Trouble with Harry, and Dial M for Murder, and I'm going to watch the other two over the next couple of nights. But I watched Notorious, and it was excellent. I mean, I think
I love it.
Grant was like just one of the smoothest people who ever lived. I love him in North by Northwest, and he's just as good in Notorious, if maybe not better. I mean, Notorious, if any of you haven't seen it, is basically like a game of mental chess between Grant and Ingrid Bergman, and it's like the two just like trading jabs with each other, and it's like you got two individuals as charismatic as that just going back and forth with each other. I hate to use the phrase "they don't make them like they used to anymore," but in the case of Notorious, they don't make them like they used to anymore.
I think that movie has some of the best kissing ever in any movie. It's
That
so like desperate and so like so good.
that's very true. And seeing Claude Rains, who I swear was in like 100,000 movies in his career, he is like from the early
Yeah.
20s all the way up to like the 60s. He was in so many movies. Like
Yeah.
especially last year when I was watching movies for my Scary Mania series, I was like, Claude Rains is in this one. Claude Rains is in that one too. It's like a game of find the Claude Rains in your horror
Yeah.
movie.
It's true. Yeah, he's so good in that. Very, very, very good. Well, another one, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a video on the New York Children's International Film Festival that I'm going to be attending virtually, of course. And they are going to have a bunch of really awesome selections, and it's very reasonable to attend the festival. I'll have all more about it tomorrow. But I got to see the movie Calamity, and this is by a animator named Remy Shea. I'm probably saying that wrong, and I apologize.
I
But
get 90% of all names wrong, so don't feel bad.
but I was really excited to see it because I actually interviewed Remy for Rotoscopers years ago when he did a movie called in 2015. I think I interviewed him actually in 2016 because I think it took a year to come over here from Europe. But anyway, I interviewed him for his movie Long Way North. It was one of my early interviews. So I like feel a little invested in kind of in his career. And one of the cool things that he does in his animation is that he doesn't use any lines. All of his animation are 2D, but where most will have some degree of sort of lines around, to define the characters, he doesn't. And so it all just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it all kinds of, it's very soft and beautiful, his animation. And so this is about Calamity Jane, the childhood of Calamity Jane. And it is so pretty. The prairie kind of scenery, the pioneer scenery. The story was a little dry, if I'm going to be honest, but I still enjoyed it. I still think it's definitely worth checking out, and you can watch it as part of the New York Children's International Film Festival coming up. So people should keep an eye out for it because it's beautiful, and it's always good to support these small animators when possible. So.
Hashtag support small animators.
That's right. Yeah, so that was really fun. And I also really enjoyed the final entry in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before movies with Always and Forever, cute Largene and Peter. Just been really fun. This is the third movie, and charming. If you like rom-coms, they're really fun. And so, yeah, we had our patron watch along this month we watched our first mystery for the watch alongs, and we watched the first Darrow and Darrow, which you've seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the first episode we did for Hallmark Now, where you gave me 5.
It was a good one. And so the daughter, the girl who plays the daughter, Lou, in the movies, Lala Fitzgerald, she came on and did the behind the scenes, and that was really fun. And we are going to have a really cool one for March. We are doing Surprised by Love, which is a fun little rom-com. And we have actor Paul Campbell coming on to do the watch along. We don't have a date yet, but it's going to be on people for their DVRs. If you want to join in, you can become a patron, and make sure you get it on your DVRs on Tuesday at 2 Central, I believe. So on Hallmark Channel. And so make sure you record it, because then we watch along with. So it'll be really cool to have all the behind the scenes with an actor of Paul Campbell's caliber. It's pretty cool that he's doing this. And he's been a great supporter of our podcast from the very beginning. He was our first celebrity that we ever interviewed back in 2017. And he's been on our show, I think, 6 times. So he's pretty cool. And
he must like you.
Yeah, it was very, very, very nice. And so anyway, if you want a chance to get to ask an actor about how movies are made and what it's like and all of that, there's your chance. We're only $2 a month.
It seems like all these actors in all these Hallmark movies, just from seeing them on the podcast, they seem such nice people, and they seem very nice about doing these watch alongs, because it's like, hey, we're doing a watch along, and Tom Cruise is going to watch Mission Impossible Fallout with us. It's like, you never see that, but it's like,
right.
With you, it's like, like you're getting Candace Cameron Bure on there to rewatch this with you, and Tom Berenger on there with you. And it's like, it just seems like they're very forgiving about stuff like that. Or not.
We haven't got either of them, but I get your point. Yeah, we got Natalie Hall, who's delightful, an actress. Because the thing is that you want to have, for a watch along, you need to have somebody that's in enough of the movie to be able to comment about it, right? Like if it's just a bit part, then that's not going to be that interesting of a watch along. So you want somebody.
There's my half a scene.
Right, exactly. And so like a writer is a good person, because obviously they're involved from start to finish, or a director, or somebody like that. But we've had a great time with the watch alongs. It's hopefully a really fun perk for the people that are patrons. And so we got a new, hey. It says, are you watching the Golden Globes right now? No, we are Golden Globeless.
No.
You can fill us in if you want in the chat room.
I I sarcastically await to hear all the meltdowns of they gave this to the wrong person.
I I will. I'm expecting to say that with Glenn Close and Hillbilly Elegy because I didn't like that movie at all. But that's okay. It's
Yeah,
just the Golden Globes.
we got called degenerates or something like
Yeah,
that
that's right.
because we didn't like it. I didn't see it, but
Yeah. I
but
know
it
you,
was
poor thing.
it was the most hilarious comment, dude.
Yeah.
Like bunch of misfits, for not like. It's like
Yeah.
it's called subjectivity,
I think
man.
they called us liberal misfits or something.
Ah,
With their
yes.
woke agendas.
Ah, yes, me, who's incredibly tiresome of politics, is left wing. Yeah, good for you. Like,
Oh my gosh. I also got to see this month Fried Green Tomatoes. And if I might have seen it before, but if I had seen it, it had been a long time. And I got to be on my friend Elisa's podcast called Best Forevers. And it's a really fun podcast. Like I always tell her, I said, your podcast is for people that actually want to become better humans. My podcast is just nonsense. Like, because, excuse me, because her podcast, Best Forevers Pod, she's actually a professor on communication and particularly an emphasis in friendship. And so she's actually qualified to be having a podcast on friendship. And she talks about friendship and all the different parts of friendship. And so that's something I think all of us can work on. And so she comes on our show quite a bit. And so this is my first time on her show. This is probably long overdue, but we talked about Fried Green Tomatoes, which is all about friendship, both flashbacks and current situation flashback. I mean, current friendship. And it's very, very, very sweet film movie. I enjoyed it very much. And
kind of a strange thing, but when I heard the title for that like years ago, I had no idea it was like a food that people actually ate.
Oh, really?
I thought it was like some marketing thing, like come to our restaurant, fried green tomatoes. It's like I didn't know tomatoes were green.
Yeah, I've only had them one time, and they were kind of soggy. So I think I got a bad batch because you watch it in the movie, and they're like crispy. You can hear like kind of sound. I'm like, those were not at all like what I had.
I've watched enough Food Network to know that that's probably bad oil. They forgot to drain that out.
Maybe I got to try them again. Maybe I could try making them myself someday. So yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna have this week coming up my review of Raya, The Last Dragon, and we also have this week our Talking Disney on Ichabod and Mr. Toad. So that was fun to get to revisit, and then we'll have Raya the week after. So it's a double Talking Disney month, which is kind of fun. And
Disney owns enough stuff now. You could probably run that thing forever.
yeah. We're actually, believe it or not, for Talking Disney, we're actually down to our final 10 films, including Raya and Encanto this year. That will be 12 total. But we're actually, we've been doing the podcast now for like 3 years. We're going on 3 years. And so we're actually nearing the finish line. And we've done a couple bonuses for Talking Disney. We've done Toy Story and we did Mary Poppins and things like that. But yeah, kind of crazy. I've really enjoyed doing it with Stanford. I'll miss when it's done because I mean, we'll just find somebody else to podcast about, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved being on the episode for Ratatouille. It was you, me, it was Micah and his mom, and it was awesome.
I forgot that you were on that one. Yeah.
I think Stanford was out sick or something.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. That was really, really fun. I enjoyed that too. And so I loved doing that show. And see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I think I covered most everything. I watched Hunchback of Notre Dame again because we did that for Talking Disney this month. And it's not my favorite Disney movie, but I admire a lot about it. It certainly was a bold swing that they took.
The only really things that I know about that movie are that Tom Hulce, who was Mozart in Amadeus, one of my favorite movies, he voices he voices the Hunchback and is really good. And the opening song, the "I will spend one day out there," that song.
So
That's
good.
pretty much all that I know about that movie.
And the music is pretty good. You can people can listen to the episode if they want to kind of find out more. It was actually a great episode, really good. My friend Christine Tyler came on, and the three of us had a really wonderful discussion about it. But I think the movie has some tonal problems, and then also it's kind of muddy about who the protagonist is. And they make certain things, like they make the gypsies very hard to root for. I mean, we should want to root for them because they're being oppressed and everything, but then they're so mean. They're throwing, fruit at Quasi, and they're hanging them up at one point. And so it makes it hard to root for them. And so that makes it, I don't know, just a little bit of a frustrating experience, but it is beautiful. And they, like I said, I admire the swing. They took a swing, they did something different. So I admire that. But anyway, it was fun to talk about on the podcast. And we have coming up, like I said, Ichabod and Mr. Crane, and then Raya. And we're doing a movie for obscure animation called Away. And this is one of those movies
Away with you.
What's that?
Away with you.
That's right. This is one of those movies that I love in the world of animation that is 100% a one-man band. He's the one guy, Jens Zilla-Lotus. Sorry I said that name probably wrong. He's the director, the producer, the writer, the editor, the visual effects, the composer.
And catering.
Right. Which I think is awesome, and I'm excited to see it. So anyway, that's what we're doing this month. But what about AFI? Did you have anything that you particularly liked or didn't like in AFI this month?
Well, as far as watching them, I had a couple of first-time watches. Let me get the list up here. Let's see. No, that was January. After Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, I watched Unforgiven for the first time, Clint Eastwood's movie that he won Best Director and Best Picture for, and it was great. I hadn't really heard all that much about the movie other than the one Gene Hackman line where he's like, "You just shot an unarmed man," and Clint Eastwood's like, "Then he should have armed himself." But that's all I knew about it. But that turned out to be really good. Rewatched Tootsie, the Dustin Hoffman movie directed by Sidney Lumet, and I hadn't seen the movie in a very long time. And there's a lot of stuff about that movie that I'm not sure how to feel about. I'm gonna have to marinate on that a little bit. Then I watched for the first time A Clockwork Orange from Stanley Kubrick, and wow, that movie is a lot. It's incredibly well made. Malcolm McDowell is excellent in the movie, but you need to be prepared for what you are about to experience, because literally from the opening dolly shot of when he's talking about the droogs and drinking the drug-laced milk to the very end, it's a lot to take in. And I think this is, forget 2001. Like, this movie is Kubrick at his most Kubrick, with cutaways and completely out of context images that seemingly connect to nothing but are like looking into the psyche, and beautiful cinematography and classical music and just overall nastiness and just in general. So you got to be prepared for what you're about to watch, but if you are prepared, then it is quite excellent. And actually, in my little mini review on Twitter, I said I have a lot to mull over, and someone over at the channel called Renegade Film Theory said, "Hey, if you're confused, you should watch my video." And I did, and it made a lot of sense to me. So when I make my review, I'm going to give them a nice shout out. So that was really cool. And then that's number 70 on the list, and 71 through 75 are Saving Private Ryan, which I've never seen, Shawshank Redemption, which is one of my all-time favorites, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I haven't seen in a very long time, and looking forward to rewatch there. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I haven't seen in years. Silence of the Lambs, which I've technically already reviewed for Scary Mania. I actually reviewed Shawshank for when I did Stephen King Month 2 years ago, so I'll be revisiting those. And then 75 is In the Heat of the Night, the Sidney Poitier Rod Starger movie from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next 5.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like some really good stuff going on there. Yeah, you reviewed American Graffiti this month, right?
I did.
See, that's the one that I'm just like, yeah.
I get it. This American Graffiti is more about the aesthetic than the story. And at first I was like, I think this is like one of those movies that's subtly about nothing, because like no real conflict resolution, all that traditional stuff really doesn't happen. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, this is not necessarily about story, it's more about a feeling. And I said in my review, this is like we're looking at George Lucas's adolescence like through this movie, or what he might have experienced, because he pulled from a lot of his real life experience growing up in Modesto, California, driving those nice custom cars, the drive-in, the diners with the roller skates, or the attendants on roller skates, and I think the movie's very important just from an aesthetic standpoint, a soundtrack standpoint. And this is one of Harrison Ford's very first movies, and he's still acting today. So it at least came about for something.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree on the important aspect, and I guess it's not awful. I don't know. I was just kind of bored. I didn't think it was great. I think that Dazed and Confused is way better, and it's a very similar concept. It's just a different era. With Richard Linklater, I just think his dialogue is a lot better. But it's always good to watch those classics. But all right. Cool. Well, let's do some quizzes. We ready? Do some BuzzFeed quizzes?
Let's rock and roll.
Okay. I am going to try. Let's see here. Here we go.
God, please let the screen sharing work. Oh, it's working.
Okay, it's working. Yay! Oh my gosh. Okay. So here we go. We are going to find out.
Is that movie still coming out in theaters? The Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I have seen the trailer for it several times, and I have no idea what it's about. Like, is this like an SNL thing? Is this like...
I know a lot of people really liked it. I think it's kind of a goofy, surrealist comedy, but I didn't get a screener, and I didn't want to pay the $20, so just waiting until it came on rental. All right. We are going to figure out what superhero you are, Ryan. Okay. DC superhero, of course. So, what's your ideal superpower? Super strength, invisibility, super speed, shape-shifting, I don't have any powers, or flight?
Why does I don't have any powers an option?
I don't know. What's ideal is like, I don't want powers. What's wrong with you?
Like, who are you, Jimmy Olsen? Oh, that's out. Super strength. Well, I feel like I'm really strong anyway. Super speed. I'm kind of uncoordinated, so I could just kind of trip and fall, like at any given moment. Shape-shifting is a bit of a tricky one, because you could like go underneath your door, but then at the same time, if like something like closes on you and you're stuck in that form forever, I don't think I could deal with that. So I think I'll have to go with invisibility.
Ooh, invisibility over flight?
I mean, flight's cool and all of that, but if it depends on what the parameters of the flight are. Like if you're say like flying at like a low level, like Iron Man or something like that, then people could see you. But invisibility, no one can see you.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. You're like the invisibility cloak with Harry Potter. All right. How would your friends describe you? funny, brave, loyal, wise, honest, or kind?
Oh boy. Well, I think funny's out. Like I can get I get a funny joke every now and then, but it's like I'm like a blind squirrel. I eventually find a nut. Uh, Brave. It
I
depends on the
was going to
context.
say, should I answer this as your friend? Did your friend say?
I mean, sure, why not?
Okay. I think I will say wise.
Okay, I can go with that.
Okay. How would you get your superpowers? They were given to me. I trained for years, freak accident, and I was born with them.
Well, if I was born with them, that wouldn't be any fun. I mean, if I trained for years, like,
That sounds exhausting.
I mean, but not that, but it just, I don't know. Like, how could you train to be invisible? Like consistently being like, be invisible, be
That's
invisible,
true.
be invisible, be invisible.
That's a
Oh,
good point.
I'll say a freak accident. Let's go
The
the
trauma route.
universal invisible man route.
All right. What is your biggest weakness? I daydream all the time. I tend to overreact. I push myself too much. I'm flaky. I can be overly sensitive or I'm always late.
Daydream all the time because
All right.
that's what I do in real life anyway.
Yeah, that would be me too. All right. What would you risk your life for? For family, for love, for justice, and or I wouldn't risk it for anything.
Well, that last one's out
Yeah.
because I think
What kind of superhero is that?
I think you have to take risks sometimes in order to be in order to do something in this life, or else you'll just drift around and be aimless, and then you'll suffer.
Right.
So for justice, it depends on justice for who and for what. It's kind of a broad term. For love, again, kind of for love of what? Like for
I,
my future wife, or
I
for
think
my,
that's what it's saying, like for your future partner,
well,
for your
I
love of your life.
I've been on 3 dates and they didn't go so well. I haven't met the love of my life yet. So I'll just say for family. They're my tribe and I'll do anything for them.
Well, and once you are married, then they'd be your family anyway, so it all works.
Oh, there you
Okay. Who would you have as a sidekick? Your oldest friend, your significant other, anyone who's up to the job, no one, I go it alone, my pet, or I have multiple sidekicks.
Well, I love my cat, but if this were all about sleeping and licking oneself, then she would not be useful. Going it alone is kind of dumb, and it all just depends. Like if I were facing like say Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2, then okay, that's fine. But if I were facing like say Thanos, then oh boy, I'd be in trouble. Don't have a significant other yet. Multiple sidekicks, so that would probably be like a Bat family. So it'd be
Yeah, it'd be
like
like Shazam or something.
Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, Alfred. Anyone who's up for the job, that's a risk. And my oldest friend, and that's a bit of a risk too. Let's go with multiple sidekicks.
All right. Why would you be a superhero? I didn't choose the hero life, it chose me. For revenge, for the fame, or for those who can't help themselves.
Oh well,
I don't
I
think for
didn't.
revenge. You're not a vengeful person.
No, that's out. I didn't choose the hero life. The hero life chose me at birth. No, I think that should be out. For the fame is kind of fleeting. So,
Yeah.
and if the boys teaches us anything, it's that it can go straight to our heads. So, I mean, I'm starting a job where I am helping the homeless. So, for those who can't help themselves.
Oh, here we go. You're Wonder Woman. Very exciting. If you looked up Brave in the
Okay.
dictionary, there'd be a picture of you. If you see something wrong, you're the first to speak up for whatever situation. Your fearlessness sometimes lands you in sticky situations, but everyone knows that you've got the natural courage to do anything.
Plus,
So
I have
there
the
you go.
almighty push, so I'll take that.
Yeah, there. Very good. All right. So here we go. Now, let's do the next one here. Okay. All right, this one I will do. So the question is, which rom-com leading lady are you most like? So pick a word to describe yourself. Charismatic, popular, athletic, independent, caring, and fierce.
If it were me, I'd pick caring.
Oh, that's very sweet. Okay. Okay, pick a color that represents you. So for me, I definitely would say purple.
I was going to say that too.
All right. Okay, good. Pick a food item. So we've got candy, spaghetti,
what looks like a grilled cheese,
yeah,
grilled chicken
salmon.
with veggies, burger and fries, and raw veggies.
I'm definitely going spaghetti. Are you a leader or a follower? Leader, follower, glass half empty. Oh, wait, no, that's the next one. Sorry. I am definitely a leader. Glass half full or empty? I'd say full. Would you agree? I'm
Yeah,
pretty optimistic.
that would be me too.
Okay, so actor or lawyer? For me, I don't.
Depends on what your law practice would be like. Elder law, trial law, pro bono.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm the best
Defending
actor.
Jason.
I'm pretty good on the stage. I don't know if I'd be that good on television. So I'm going to say lawyer. So for me, let's see, pick a social media app. So no thanks, TikTok, Vesco. What is that? I've never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I got to go with Twitter.
Allow me a second to absorb the shock of this announcement.
Okay, pick a dog. Oh, that one looks like my brother's cute dog named Thunder. Going with this one.
Oh, that's an awesome dog name.
Oh, Regina George. Oh no.
Wait, I haven't seen this movie. Is that bad?
You've never seen Mean Girls, huh?
All I know is that there's something about plastics.
Oh, we've got to watch. We should do like a watch along and watch it together. That would be fun.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
I've heard nothing but good things. All I know about is the plastics thing, and Lindsay Lohan was in it.
This answer doesn't even make sense. She is not a leading lady. She's the antagonist of the film. Lindsay Lohan is the leading lady. You're a force to be reckoned with. You know exactly what you want and how to manipulate people into getting it. You are determined, fierce. People are naturally drawn to you. So there we go. That is me. That's kind of disturbing that I'm Regina George, but oh well, what are we going to do? All right, one more.
Well, when I eventually see Mean Girls, I'll remember this moment.
Okay, good.
It'll either have relevancy or some kind of impact.
You'll be like, what? It really doesn't make much sense. Okay, one more. Let's see here. All right, so the next one, this one you'll answer for. The sitcom you build will determine which Netflix show you should binge watch. Or maybe we can try to answer together if we both agree. We'll try. Okay. First question, pick your main male character. We have Joey, Sheldon Cooper, Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Michael Scott from The Office. What's your initial first thought?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the criteria. I mean,
it's the sitcom you build. So this is our ultimate sitcom. I will say, I think as a lead character, it says your main male character. I think that I would go with Sheldon Cooper. Are you
Yeah,
opposed to that?
I agree with that.
Okay, because I think that Michael Scott is actually the secondary character. I think that the Jim is the main character of The
A
Office.
show with Sheldon Cooper and Michael Scott. Like, I'll shut up and take my money.
All right, next question. Pick your main female character. This is so weird. Phoebe Buffay is not the main character of Friends, but nevertheless. Okay. Amy Santiago. I think that's also from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've never watched it.
I leave this choice to you. I haven't seen any of these shows, so
I
whatever
actually,
you.
I've seen a couple of episodes of New Girl. It wasn't my favorite. I guess the only one I've really seen enough of is Lisa Kudrow's incredible. So I'll go with Phoebe. She's not the main character of that show, though. So I'm already doubting the accuracy of this quiz. Okay, pick a recurring male character. We have Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons, obviously. David Wallace from The Office. We have Gunther from Friends, and Doug Judy from The Office.
I'd like to see David. I mean, I always enjoyed David Wallace on The Office. Like when he started out, I'm like, I'm not sure, but then like he had his midlife crisis, and then he got back into Dunder Mifflin and bought the place, and just
Yeah.
I liked him after that.
I think that Krusty and Phoebe could be funny together, but I'll allow it because I did like David as well. Okay, pick a recurring female character. We have Jan Levinson from The Office, Janice Hosenstein from Friends, Laurie Foreman from That 70s Show, and Edna Krabappel from The Simpsons. So,
A Sheldon and Jan thing could be interesting.
oh yeah, that could be good. Yeah, I think see, the thing about Janice on Friends is she's basically a copy of Fran Drescher. Like there was two shows were airing at the same time, The Nanny and Friends. And so she's almost exactly the same as Fran. And so I don't, no, I don't want a second
On the same network, no less.
Yeah, that's true. But I do like Anna Krabappel. She's pretty funny. She's like very dry, sarcastic. But I guess Jan is as well. Um, let's throw in one Simpsons one just for the heck of it. Why not? Okay. Here we go. Next one. Pick a hangout spot. We've got Monk's Cafe from Seinfeld, Central Perk from Friends, Eric's Basement from That 70s Show, and McLaren's Pub from How I Met Your Mother. So do we want coffee? Do we want a meal? Do we want alcohol? Or do we want to get laced? Do we want in the basement?
Let's pick. I would pick Mugs just for me personally.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Pick an opening sequence. So we've got Who's That Girl from New Girl? We've got Hanging Out from That 70s Show. We've got I'll Be There For You. And we have Dunder Mifflin. I don't know why they don't have Golden Girls on here. Like, that's the best opening sequence ever, in my opinion. But what do you think about this one? Do you have an opinion?
Well, the Dunder Mifflin one is a particular favorite of mine. It's a nice little clip show. I mean, it starts out with the pen and paper building, which I think is pretty cool, and then has like and whenever I rewatch the series, I'm like, oh, what's that clip from? What's that clip from? As far as the rest of them, I haven't seen them, so
okay. They're pretty decent. I haven't seen The New Girl, but okay. Decade. Pick a decade. 1970s, 1990s, 2000s, 2010s.
Definitely not the 2010s. Let's rule that out immediately.
1990s?
I mean, between 90s and 70s, I like more 70s music than 90s. I like more 70s movies than 90s movies. The food is better.
I don't know that many television shows from the 70s. Like, of course, there's the Brady Bunch, and I mean, there were lots of shows, but I feel like I know more 90s shows because I was a teenager in the 90s.
Okay, let's go 90s.
Okay. All right, pick a catchphrase. Burn, Bazinga, legendary. That's from How You Met Your Mother. I don't know what burn is from. And how you doing? I feel like I should know who that's from. I think that's... I feel like I've heard that, but I can't think of what it's from. So do we go with Bazinga from Big
I
Bang
mean,
Theory?
we do have Sheldon there, so we might as well.
All right. There we go. All right.
Atypical.
We got to binge Atypical on Netflix. This tells the story of Sam, an autistic teenager, and his family as they face new challenges every day. That sounds very, very dense. I don't know what our answers led to that conclusion, but there we go. So that is our fun quizzes. I think. What do you think of the BuzzFeed quizzes?
Yeah, that was fun. We should do that again in March.
And I'll find some even better ones. I think I'm very suspect on the Regina George, especially. Very, very upset about that. Well, thank you for coming on and doing this. It's always a lot of fun.
No, I love doing these.
And we can't wait to get back on Twitter to find out what outrage the Golden Globes have anointed as the winners.
I mean, the storm is already brewing because Jared Leto got nominated for Little Things, and now that I've actually seen Little Things, I kind of get it, but at the same time, he was really good in the movie, so maybe the Golden Globes were onto something. Again, I mean, I'm shrugging my shoulders here, so perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would have, if I was giving for that movie, I would have given it to Denzel, but that's just me. But nevertheless, if people want to follow you, your channel, what you've got going on, where do they go?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called Ryan Cam. Today, on Sunday, I dropped my big retrospective on Better Call Saul, reviewing all the seasons for that so far, for preparations for season 6, which just got pushed to next year, which is sad, but hey, let the speculation arise because that's my favorite show going so far. Tomorrow at noon, I'll be dropping my AFI project video for Network, and that's going to be very interesting to talk about. On Wednesday, I'll be dropping a video for Hana, the 2011 action movie. I think it deserves more respect, and I'm going to talk about it. Then on Friday, I'll be dropping an AFI project video for The African Queen, the Humphrey Bogart movie. And then this coming Sunday, I'll be reviewing Only Yesterday for my I Finally Saw series. And then sometime next week, I'll be doing a video called my new release roundup, where I'm going to be reviewing all of the new release movies that I saw in January and February. I only saw like 6 or 7 total, so I can combine the 2 months into one video. And that's going to be something that I'll be doing for the rest of 2021, just combining all my new release reviews into one video. So if you all haven't checked me out or my channel, please do. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and just because I've got a 9-to-5er, that doesn't mean that I'm stopping the videos. They're just gonna keep on coming.
Great. Yeah, definitely everybody needs to check your channel out. It's really good stuff. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said, I've got the introduction to the New York International Children's Film Festival tomorrow for family movie night. And then I have the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad coming on Wednesday with Stanford for Talking Disney. And then we are going to have another live stream episode of Hidden Gems on Friday because I have new jobs and I'm getting my COVID shot this week. And so lots of stuff going on. So we're doing a live episode on Friday. And did we decide what we're doing? I can't remember.
I believe it was
Disney Plus. I think we're doing Disney Plus.
Yes, that's right.
Because we're going to talk about Raya. That's right. So that should be written. And I should have a review. I think I'm going to do a written review for Raya, especially if I'm going to be doing on Talking Disney and on with you. I think I'm going to do for my first review. I'm going to write it up for tomorrow. So check that out. Make sure you're following me on the blog. And then this week on Hallmark's podcast, we have a new interview tomorrow with the writers of The Mix Up in the Mediterranean, which was a really fun movie that I really enjoyed, that kind of had the feel of an old screwball comedy. So it was a little bit sillier than your typical Hallmark movie. Anyway, they're Julie Kim and Karine Marwood. And so that was really fun to get to talk with them. And that'll be on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we have the Mysteries recap. I actually wasn't on that episode, but the other girls did it. And so they did a great job. And then Thursday is Talking Heartland. We're on season 4, episodes 4 through 6. It was a pretty good set of episodes. Me and Michelle are talking about that. So we have a great week of content for both Rachel's Reviews and Hallmarkies podcast. So take a look at that all over there. We have our Patreon group. We have our merch store, which has tons of fun stuff. So check that all out. And thanks so much. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.